oh, come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel.
Greetings, family, and welcome to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray, family, that you are extremely well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life very much on your own terms, in your own vibration. That is the most important thing, that you are back on your throne. You are sitting firmly on the seat of your throne, which is in your body. You're the one who's in control of your body. There's no other spirit that's trying to push you this way or push you that way. That you have reclaimed your power, that you have reclaimed your mind, that you have reclaimed your heart from all the negative things that have happened, and that you are in this world, but not of this world, which means as we see everything that's unfolding, because family, what was happening in the spiritual realms last year and the year before is now hitting the physical realms, where we're seeing the dismantling of the Babylon system. And of course, the Babylon system is trying to reintroduce itself. Special shout out to Errol. There's these, dragon lizard kind of things that he always sees, that he's always chasing. And special shout out to every single person that supports us on Patreon and sends us love donations through PayPal. We appreciate, love you so much for that support, family. And there is a gift for you in the mail. And you know what? If you'd like to support the channel and through our sponsor, a show, promotion, get in touch, mumbi.saraki@gmail.com, where we will give your product or service a shout out. And we have actually a special offer going on at this time. Now, after the US pulled out of its, USAID kind of pulled, the plug was pulled on USAID. And it was realized that USAID was actually, the divided states was actually the biggest donor in the world and the biggest donor in Africa. And a lot of programs came crashing down. I've actually recorded, I think, 1 or 2 shows on that. So definitely I'll try and attach them to this one. But what's interesting, family, is once that happened, that withdrawal of aid, we saw Europe coming out a week later and saying that they didn't have the capacity or the funds to fill the gap that had been left by USAID on the motherland. Of course, they were speaking to their puppet presidents, because it's like they've been doing the bidding of all these, USAID and the European aid, of all these fake charities and fake aid agencies, of these foreign governments. They've been playing toe with them so that they could receive this aid money, which is actually corrupt money, ends up in the pockets of most politicians, and get rich quick. It was a whole pyramid scheme. And once Trump pulled the plug on that, the pyramid scheme is coming crumbling down. And interesting enough, there are a few European Union ministers who are calling for Europe to also do an audit of the money that it's been sending as aid to the motherland, to check where that money is going. And, by the way, Europe is in a recession. And especially with the Frances of this world getting cut off the mineral resources of the motherland, they are heading into a third world country situation. They are heading into poverty. So Europe is not in a position to help anyone, and they've never been in a position to help anyone. Aid was to fill the gap for engineered poverty. Aid was the cloak they wore to come into our nations with their guns, with their poison, with their agendas, the El Nini, and lower the vibration of the motherland. It was a neo-colonial agenda. And the only way their neo-colonial puppet presidents were able to stay in power and do their bidding was because of this foreign aid. Aid is like AIDS. Aid is like AIDS. They both mean the same thing, family. Because AIDS has sucked the life out of the motherland. tried to suck the minerals, sucked all the good resources. And so now we're seeing, and Europe had already, I think the divided kingdom and other nations had already started to say that they didn't have the necessary financing for the humanitarian aid, and they'd be pulling back on their humanitarian aid to the motherland. And so a lot of our African presidents are in a panic because they came to the presidency as members of the brotherhood, a lot of them, as greedy businessmen for the others, to literally enrich themselves and line their pockets. It was a system that they had been created, and they just wanted to be the next one, helping the Mzungu run the system. And, there's two things that the motherland needs to be aware of right now, family. On the one hand, the fact that Europe is pulling back. The Mzungu, Babylon is pulling back its aid. It's pulling back its tentacles. Means two things. It means, on the one hand, that they're re-strategizing their neo-colonial system in the motherland. So they've seen that, this whole neo-colonialism of fake politics and big agendas, and Africa is the dark continent, and Africa is poor, and we're helping the poor people, and all this stuff. They've seen now that people are too enlightened. The awakening has totally unraveled that and proved it to be false. And that whole matrix has collapsed because Africans were like, how are you helping us and stealing from us at the same time? So it crashed mentally, because the group consciousness of the African people was like, yo, we're being taken for a ride by the European nations who say they're coming to help us. And sometimes they've created the problem that they waited for us to give a reaction to, and had already pre-programmed our leaders to give a reaction to, so they could offer the solution. It's just not working anymore. And so they just can't continue being the oil snakeskin salesman, trying to sell us, pipe dreams, family. But that means that because this strategy is not working, they are going to be coming up with a new strategy. And it looks like they are moving, and I've talked about hard and soft power, how there's two ways that foreign entities try and control countries. The hard power is military, guns, occupation, the hard line. And the soft power is through culture, through breaking down your culture, giving you their culture, breaking down your spirituality, giving you religion. And they're seeing that now the soft culture, as people awaken and they no longer have the control over the mental sphere, the narrative sphere, that's no longer working. So what I'm seeing coming down the pipe, family, is that a lot of these nations are going to try and go back to hard power. So as they remove their aid and their friendly diplomacy and, oh, we're here to help you, they are going to get more blatant about having boots on the ground. They already have their armies in over 80% of the African nations. But they're going to become more obvious to us that they're here for the minerals and not for the people. They're here to take the gold. And if we want our gold as Africans, we're going to have to fight them for it. That's the direction they're taking us in, family. And Babylon is very aware that the ancient ones are back, that the ancient consciousness is back, and we're back to take our land, that the new dispensation is already here. But they're not going without a fight, and they're hoping that Africans will continue to be too nice and too polite and play fair and ooey, so that they can continue to play us, because they're not playing softball. And so look for a re-emergence. And we can see it especially in the East African region, where the hidden hand of Babylon, the hidden hand of the Mzungu, is trying to create some kind of war or some kind of instability so that they can come in with their peacekeeping forces and their armies and everything. And a lot of them have already been so integrated in our armies, because they're the ones who train them, they're the ones who give them the guns, they're the ones who give them the funding and all that. So for me, I see Europe moving back from trying to pretend to us and hoodwink us, and be, from being the narcissist and creating this narcissistic colonial system, to all gloves are off. we own your gold because we put conservancies there, we bought the land, we've owned the land for hundreds of years. If you want it back, you're going to have to fight for it, you're going to have to spill blood for it. That's where they're going. But they're also facing a declining people, a declining economy. So they have their own situations going on in the backgrounds, in their homes, where there is an awakening that's happening amongst their people, and their people no longer want to be the global bullies. Their people no longer want to be the global occupiers because they find that they have suffered the most from that. The curse, they carry the collective curse of their leaders, Babylon. And we can see those collective curses in, the declining birth rates and all that. I've talked about that, about all of that before, family. Now, the good thing for us as a motherland is we have a window in this transition, family. We have a window to establish our full independence, the way Ibrahim Traoré came and just shifted absolutely everything and took back the sovereignty of his nation, kind of by surprise, and was bold enough. And trust me, I told you already, he's not moving at you on the physical realms. Those guys they're dismantling things on the spiritual and mental realms way before it hits the physical reality. They're doing it, they are not playing, family. And the kind of protection that they have as they move in this world, they've gone back. And I've been hearing how Ibrahim Traoré even started to close down churches and has encouraged people to go back to the spirituality of their ancestors, to go back to communing with nature. And you can see how that is going for them. You can see how well that is going for them. So we have an opportunity as different nations across the motherland to uproot these Babylonian democracies with their sellout leaders, and put people who are passionate, people who are chosen, people who have the spirit of Sankara and Ibrahim Traoré, people who are anointed for such a time as this, because it will take a certain spiritual ranking to truly be a change agent as a president on the motherland. Those new presidents, the Ibrahim Traoré of every nation, has already been anointed and spiritually selected. But it is up to the people and the group consciousness of the people to make way and give that person room and work on their own, the corruption within the group consciousness, the engineered poverty, the engineered lack, the engineered poisonous, negative, toxic thought patterns and ways of life, so that such leaders can come and take us. The Moseses of this generation, the Davids of this generation can come and take us to our promised land, which is right here. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, family. Special shout out to every single person that supports us on Patreon and sends us love donations and gratitude donations through PayPal. There is a gift for you in the mail. And to everyone who is reaching out to us to sponsor a show, we appreciate, love you. We're sending you the information as quickly as possible. Check your mail, family. And if you'd like to sponsor a show and use the opportunity to also market a special product or service that you are offering, family, in this new dispensation, get in touch, mumbi.saraki@gmail.com. Tuko pamoja. To all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines.